Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your MC for today,
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of In the Spotlight. Thank you so much for being with us. We had a couple of little technical difficulties, as happens these days. So I'm so excited you guys are all with us. We have a very, very exciting show for you today. So I am just really, really thrilled to have this incredible man on the show today. He is someone that, oh my gosh, well, I've known for many years, but really kind of reconnected recently at an incredible event where a lot of people get together from previous shows. And so I am so happy he is with us, and he's going to talk a little bit about things that he's been doing. Well, we'll talk a little bit about the past, and then we're also, of course, going to talk about what's happening in his career now, and so many exciting things. So we're putting the spotlight on this incredible man that many of you grew up with. He's an actor. He is a director. He is, of course, one of the most amazing singers, and some of you may not know that. So I'm kind of excited to make sure that you're all aware, if you have not heard how powerful and incredible he is as a singer. So with that, I am going to introduce him in just a second, but I want to play this first. And so here we go.
Happy Days was as American as apple pie.
Mr. C, this is the best dinner I've ever had.
Thank you.
But before it became a big hit in the US, the series, about a group of teens in 1950s Milwaukee, was embraced by audiences on the other side of the world.
Pretty exciting. Oh my gosh. Well, so it is really my great honor and thrill to bring this incredible man on the show tonight. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So please help me welcome the incredible Don Most. And here he is. Hi there.
Hi, Carrie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. That was way too kind.
No. You are, and here's the fun thing. I mean, obviously, we've kind of run in similar circles over the years and then reconnected a couple of years ago. But I did not know about your singing career. And I am just so blown away by you and your talent. It is absolutely incredible that what you have done and what you have achieved.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, the truth of the matter is I was singing before I was acting when I was very young. I was singing when I was 15 years old. I spent the entire summer singing in a nightclub act in the Catskill Mountains,
right?
In the resort area upstate New York. So, that's in my blood from a long time ago. And then I put it aside to focus more on the acting, because that kind of music, you and I talked about this,
right,
was sort of out of favor back then. I was waiting for it to come back, and thankfully it did. And I think I lost you. Are you there? Am I still here?
You didn't lose me. You didn't lose me. I just was letting you talk and share,
okay. All right. I didn't know. But, we talked about this, how that music, was looked upon as our parents' and grandparents' music in the 70s, 80s.
Right.
So when I did it, it was 1968, the summer that I spent up in the Catskill Mountains. It was Dirty Dancing era, right around that time. And but I knew I'd get back to it one of these days. And thank God the music you know, has been rediscovered by all these generations, and rightfully so, because it was the greatest music. That's
Right.
why it's called the Great American Songbook, and they stand the test of time. And the music is fantastic, and I'm just so grateful that I'm getting to do it at this point in my life.
Yeah, well, I just have to let you know that it is it just so incredible to like see what well, I'm going to let everybody see a little bit about it
Yeah,
because
later. They'll see it later.
yeah, later. But I will say that we have so many people who just love you so much, and they have been posting questions about you and your life. And let me just kind of bring something on here. You know, of course, this is what we are, you know, all like, you know, everybody's very, very excited just to talk about the show and, you know, all of the things that you know, achieved. And of course, I mean, this is a big part of your life, you know, and I don't know about you, but like for me, when I left my series, what happened was that for a while, I didn't want to talk about the show. I really wanted to kind of leave it behind and not think about it. And I don't know if you had the same experience, but now I love talking about it. Do you have that similar experience?
Well, yeah, I mean, to some degree, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we were actors that wanted to do a wide variety of roles. I mean, that's what acting is about.
Right.
You're playing somebody other than yourself, and the wider the diversity, the better. So if you're so intrinsically linked to one character,
right,
that is diametrically opposed to what you want to do as an actor. To play. So yeah, it becomes sort of the monkey on your back, and so I went through a similar phase where it was like, you know, you wanted to not talk about that and just move forward, which is a natural thing. And yes, similar to what you just expressed, I think in these years, as years progressed, I've learned to embrace it more and appreciate it more than I did back then. We have a wiser, more mature overview of things. And also because I've been able to, especially as of late, do a lot of interesting roles in different projects, film projects, TV projects. And I think it's because so much time and distance and age has separated. You know, I'm no longer, I can't be viewed upon as I was when I was on Happy Days in my 20s, because I'm, you know, in my 60s. It's a little different.
Yeah, but you know what? You still have a very young spirit. So like, you know, I mean, you may be in your 60s, but I don't know. I just think you're always going to be young at heart. Don't you kind of feel that way a little bit?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I never want to lose that, you know. I mean, we always have to keep that part of us alive, you know.
Right.
We have to. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that kind of, I mean, that's what makes, I don't know, makes life worth living is still, I mean, I have a kid now who is a teenager, but I remember when he was first born, it was so interesting because I just felt like, I don't know, I just kind of reconnected to my childhood, you know, but there are so many people that have like I said, they've sent in some questions, and you've been really sweet to say you would answer some of them while we do our Throwback Thursday section of the show.
Okay.
So if you're okay, I'm going to bring this on.
Sure.
And I'm going to just like take us and hide us here for a minute and play this little clip, and then we will talk about it. Okay. So hold on.
Still got it. Ralph Malph's most famous catchphrase.
Okay, so did you hear it?
I didn't get to see it.
You didn't get to see it. Okay, so hold on a minute. So this was you. So she's going, "Oh, Ralph, you know, I mean, you still got it." And then Anson and Ron are going, "Oh my gosh!" And she, do you remember the scene where the girl, she has a red dress on and she's touching your face, and she's going, "Oh, Ralph, you still got it."
Oh gosh, Oh,
You're in Arnold's. You're in
Yeah.
Arnold's. I'm sorry you can't see it.
I know.
Here, wait. Let me do this. Hold on. Hold on. Can you see that?
No.
You can't see that?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it might have been the episode. Might have been the episode where, I had to box this guy because I made a move. I made the moves on a girl who was the girlfriend of this guy Rebel, this like
Right.
6'6", Captain America guy.
Right.
And then I had to, somehow I got into a boxing match with him to win the girl. And I think that's what you're talking about. And the girl, if I'm correct, the actress was Audrey Landers.
Oh, really? Oh, of course. But a very young Audrey Landers. Interesting.
And to tell you some even more interesting, if it was Audrey and I met years before
Right.
I ever went to California.
Yeah.
We met doing a commercial in New York
Mm-hmm.
when I was about 20. She was like 17, something like that. And then we started dating way back then. And then
Right.
I moved out to California, and then she moved out later. And then we wound up doing that show together.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, the neat thing about that is like you do, and I heard you tell this story, and I wanted to see if you could just tell a little bit of it. It's a story about how You Still Got It came to be, and
yeah.
I want you to tell the story. I'm going to take myself off the screen and give you like the platform because it's a really cool story.
Oh, you heard this? Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the reason how that came to pass was we had the most amazing director and one of the most amazing people I ever knew in my life, a man named Jerry Paris, a brilliant director. He had been an actor in all kinds of things, but people most remember him as the next door neighbor in the Dick Van Dyke Show, Jerry Helper. And he also directed most of the Dick Van Dyke shows. And we were so fortunate to have him as our director. And he was an amazing guy. We all loved Jerry. And Jerry I was not like RALPH MALPH in my life. I was pretty introspective, quiet, shy, and Ralph was the exact opposite. But Jerry was a guy that was always on, loved to get the laughs, and funny as can be. And when we would go on trips with him, and we had a baseball team, we'd go all over the country. Jerry would keep us in stitches all the time. And then when he'd score particularly well with us and we'd laugh really hard, he would say, "I still got it." And we all knew this about Jerry. And then one day we were doing an episode, and there was a scene in Arnold's where Ralph was telling some kind of joke. And, I just had this idea. I said, I'm going to steal, whatever you want to call it, Jerry. And I remember going to Ron Howard and saying, "Ron, I'm going to do something at this point in the script. Just be ready for it. It's not in the script. I'm going to do it. I just want to let you know." Because I didn't tell anybody except Ron. And then when the scene came up, we did it. And then after Ralph tells his joke, and they're all kind of cracking up, I went, "I still got it." And everyone went crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it. It's just so fun.
And then the writers, everyone loved it. So they started putting it in more and more episodes. And
oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so I have another thing that I want to have you tell another story because I thought this was really, really exciting. So hold on a minute. Let me pull this up. All right. So hold on a minute. Let me get you on there. Okay, so okay, so just for everybody to know, if you got to look in at this picture, because I know everybody will be so excited. And I was looking at the picture and I'm like, and then there was a caption and it says John and Julian Lennon. And so if you look, there is John and Julian Lennon with you. And I was kind of hoping you could tell the story about, and I'm going to go away for a second, let you tell the story of how this happened.
Okay, definitely. So it's the first year of Happy Days. We're probably in our 6th or 7th episode. I remember the episode because it was one, because early on I didn't have a lot. My character, was very peripheral, and I'd come in here and there. But this one I had a more substantial part of the episode.
Right.
Because I got challenged to a drag race, and then Fonzie says, I'm going to drive Ralph's car and whatever. So we're doing a scene in Arnold's. This was before we were shooting in front of a live audience.
Right.
The first 2 seasons we were shooting it like a movie.
Yeah.
Not the live audience thing. So we were doing our scene in Arnold's, where we were talking about the drag race. And Anson Williams, who played Potsy, of course, he went over to get some coffee near where the door to the sound stage was. And he comes back and he says, "It's so weird. There's a guy who just walked in, looks a lot like John Lennon." And we all, yeah, right. John Lennon's here to visit our set. This is the first year of the show, 6 episodes in, 7.
Wow.
So we're all laughing. And then like 3 minutes later, we see this guy walk closer to the set. And we're looking at him and we're going, holy shit, that's John Lennon. And we're like, what the? It was like totally surreal. And
yeah.
He was there with Julian. They were in California. I think he was taking him on the California trip. I think they were going to go to Disneyland after.
Wow.
And I think Julian either liked the show, and maybe John loved music from the 50s, for whatever reason, they decided to come specifically to visit our set.
Wow.
And he hung out there. They were there for hours, just watching and talking. He was so low key and gentle and
right.
unassuming. Oh my God. And it was just surreal, So that picture I have hanging.
I'm sure.
Office. Yeah.
I just thought it was so amazing because I was looking at like photographs of you, and I was looking for some pictures of you singing now and what you're doing, and I came across that picture and I thought, there's a cool story behind this picture with John Lennon and Julian Lennon.
Yeah.
This is so amazing. Don't you find like we had like Sammy Davis Jr. on our show and Milton Berle, and so like
Sammy Davis and who?
We had Sammy Davis Jr. We had Milton Berle on our show.
Oh, wow.
We had Don Rickles on our show. Wow. The Pointer Sisters, Andy Gibb. Oh my gosh, we had all these amazing, iconic people on the show. And I look back now and I'm like, what an incredible experience. Because as you said, like we were shooting, like when you shoot a show with an audience, you're there all week. So I'm on this, even if I didn't have a lot of scenes like with them, I was on the set with them all week long.
Yeah.
And Milton Berle is a funny story. So Milton Berle used to get really annoying. You know how like when you have a break, you go to your dressing room and then the AD comes and gets you when you have a scene, right? So he screamed at us one time, me and my 2 younger sisters, and he was very annoyed that it took us 5 minutes to get to that set but I wanted to go, but Mr. Berle, we were down the hallway. Our dressing rooms are not that close to the soundstage. But it was like, I felt so bad. We made Milton Berle mad because he was waiting for us.
He was mad that he had that way.
But Sammy, and I've told this story before, Sammy was the most amazing, like, person, so generous. He invited us. We flew up to Vegas, saw his show. It was incredible. And then you had Robin Williams on the show, obviously. And what were you there that week when Robin did what was that like?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, I was there. I was in some scenes with Robin. Yeah, I mean, and of course at the time nobody knew who Robin Williams.
Right.
He hadn't done anything on television or movies or anything.
Yeah.
What happened was there was this episode that I can't remember the name of the episode. I can't believe I forgot the name, but you know, it had to do with, it was a dream episode, and it was a dream about this alien and all that, as we all know.
Right.
So what happened was, we read the script, you know, at our table read on the Monday, and everyone was going like, it was like one of the worst scripts that we had ever had, and we were like, oh my God, this needs a lot of work. And they were having trouble. They wanted certain name actors, but nobody would take it because I guess it wasn't very good. And then they finally got some actor that.
So the Robin Williams script was no good, which is so interesting, right?
No, it was not a good script. And then, I mean, it was crazy. So then finally they had an actor that, I don't know, I remember who. And then on Wednesday, I think he quit.
And you're shooting on Friday?
Yeah.
In front of a live audience. So for everybody who's watching right now, like, you rehearse Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right. And by Wednesday, the show is done. It's ready to go. Thursday, camera blocking. Well, yeah, I mean, you get there.
For us, camera blocking was on Thursday.
Right. Okay. Yeah, for us too. But we would be in the rehearsal hall for 3 days. Right. And by Wednesday, we were doing a producer run through, and we pretty much had it on its feet. Nobody's holding a script in their hand or anything like that. So for the guy to quit on a Wednesday when you have to go camera block on Thursday is terrifying, right? Yeah. So then what happened?
It was a pretty harried situation. So then, from what I heard, it was either Penny Marshall or Al Molinaro. Somebody had seen Robin Williams at the Comedy Store, you know, doing his thing. Right. And they said, we know the guy, you know, this guy is amazing. So they brought him in. I wasn't there, of course, to read. And they instantly went nuts over him. And I mean, if anybody was right to play a guy from outer space,
it's
Robin was that guy, you know. So I remember I arrived on the set. I didn't have, my scenes were, my call was until like, you know, 12 o'clock, where the everyone else, the set call might have been 10, but I didn't have, my scenes were until later. But I remember walking onto the stage at 12 o'clock, and there was this palpable buzz in the room. You could feel it, and people coming up to me going, where do you see this guy? Because we didn't know who was going to play this, going to play MORK, you know? Yeah. So where do you see this guy? So I'll go, oh, really? So I go up and I start watching the rehearsal, you know, and Robin started bringing in ad-libbing and doing stuff from his own act, where he'd do all these noises and funny bits, because he was able to, he just started bringing in his own shtick and ad-libbing. And it was like nobody had ever seen anybody like this, you know?
Right.
So it was crazy. And then we do the show Friday, and it turned out to be great. You know, it was an episode that was really, was so borderline to be kind. And then it became a really great episode. And there was all these there was so much buzz. All the ABC network executives were there Friday night to watch it. And then we heard by like Monday or Tuesday, oh, he's got his own show now.
Of course, right? Oh my God. I mean,
literally.
Friday you shoot, and Tuesday he's got his own show.
Yes.
That's television for you. Your life can change like overnight. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
That was but deservedly so for Rob.
Yeah, deservedly so. Okay, so I wanted to bring these other amazing people up with us. This is kind of a neat picture of you and Ron and Henry and Marion, who I love, because I don't know if you know that she played my mom. I'm sure you don't know this. She played my mother in a movie that we did for ABC. I just love her so much. And then Anson. And what's neat about this picture, I think, is that you guys all stay in touch, right? I mean, like, I know I saw you when I saw you in LA, it was about 1.5 years ago. It was so great because the whole Happy Days cast was together, like in the hallway, meeting some of your fans, and Marion was there, and you were there, and Anson was there, and Scott was there, and it was just like, and Kathy, who I went to high school with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kathy and I went to I just saw her last year at the high school reunion.
Of course.
And I, of course, I loved running into Marion because I just love her so much. But I mean, what can you say about this amazing woman? She's just
incredible.
Like, she's an angel, right?
Amazing is exactly.
Yeah. How do you say? What do you say?
Yeah, she's just such a beacon of light and wonder and what great talent but a spirit that is incomparable, you know.
Incomparable. Yeah. So it's neat that you guys still, I think that one of the questions everybody had is about you all still staying in, they were excited like to know, do you still stay in contact with people from the show?
Yeah, well, Anson and I are best friends. I mean, we talk several times a week. We see each other all the time. You know, we're so tight. I think we're tighter now than we were always tight, but I think Anson and I are even tighter now than we were back then.
Right.
I don't see everyone else as much, but because Anson lives, you know, 30, 40 minutes from me. Right. Marion's like 25 minutes, and I get to see Marion, you know, here and there. And now Ron and Henry, we communicate more through email, and we get to see each other a couple times a year. Right. I don't see them as much, but they've been very, very busy. And although now, now it's different, but. But
with for everybody to understand, like the whole entire I was speaking to my old manager this morning. The whole business is like shut down. You know, it's crazy. And then there's all these new rules for how are you going to do a love scene now, because you're really not supposed to be like 6 feet apart now. You can actually shoot a love scene 6 feet apart.
Yeah, you have to be in quarantine with each other for 2 weeks before you start shooting or something.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I wanted to see if I could ask you, so these guys have been like patiently waiting for their questions to get answered. So can I ask you a couple of questions and then let's move on? I want to talk about your acting career. Are you okay on time? Because I'm keeping you a little longer than I'm supposed to. So I want to figure, okay. So one of the questions was from Rob, and he said, how old were you when you started acting, and what was your first acting job?
Okay, so I started going to a school for singing, acting, dancing when I was about 13, 14. And then I was singing in the nightclubs that summer when I was 15. Then I switched seriously into acting, and I got my first SAG acting job when I was 16, doing a commercial, a national commercial for Rice Checks. So
Checks?
Yeah, that was my very first, you know, real Screen Actors Guild acting job. Right. Then I did about 40 commercials over the next 4 years, and a couple little things in New York. But then in California, my first acting job was as a guest role on the show Room 222.
I totally remember that show.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That was in the summer of '73.
And so that was right before you started doing Happy Days?
About 5 months before.
5 months. Okay, fantastic. Very good. Thank you, Rob, for that question. Okay, next is from Rosie. And Rosie is a loyal fan of the show. And she wants to know, she asked, do you have what would be your 3 top favorite episodes? And did you have a crush on any of your female co-stars?
Wow. Wow, that's a good one. All right, 3 top episodes. I'm somewhat biased because the producers were so kind and thoughtful, and they would always give everyone 1 or 2 episodes a year to really shine. You know, because it was an ensemble, and the stars were Ron and Henry. You know, for the most, pretty much, but then they would make sure that we would all have a chance to have a spotlight. So the 3, I guess the first one would be the very first one that showed that I had a big integral part. It was in the 3rd season where somebody had demolished Fonzie's motorcycle, and he was out to get the guy who did it. And it turns out I had accidentally backed into it, and I panicked, and I started going back and forth, and I totally demolished his motorcycle. And
With a
then
car?
I was scared for my life, and I was gonna leave town. I was gonna run away, and that was a great episode for me.
Right.
Then the next best one, there was another one after that where the girl who I was dating, it was the actress Amy Irving, and it was one of her first jobs. She had just come back from London, studying acting in London, and this was one of her first episodes, and she played my girlfriend, Olivia Hunsaker. And
I remember that name. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, because she, and she dumped me because she couldn't, she dumped me, and I was devastated, and then Fonzie convinces me I have to create a new image, so then I come out looking like Rex Harrison. I have the hat and the pipe or whatever. Anyway, it was a
Next time you come on the show, I'm going to have a clip of that.
It's a funny episode. And then it doesn't work, so I'm going to run away to join the Marines. So that would be my second favorite. The third favorite, wow, that's a tough one. Probably the episode where we wanted to score with college girls. So because we were going to go up to Lake Whitefish, which was like a camping area, a vacation, and I said we have to pretend to be somebody. We can't be ourselves, because they'll never go for us. We were still in high school, so we had to come up with something. So we pretended to be Tunisian camel jockeys, and that was a hysterical show. That might be up there with my favorite.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And her second question was, did you have a real crush on any of your female co-stars?
Wow. Well, yes. It wasn't a female co-star, but a woman in the final episode, the final year that I did Happy Days, because I did the first 7 years, and then my contract was up and I didn't renew. Okay. And the show ran for 4 more years, but for all kinds of reasons, Ron Howard and I did not renew after the 7th season.
Right.
Luckily, I was still there. There was an actress that came on who did a small guest role and then did a second episode as well. And we met, had a little bit of a moment in the scene. She played a model, and I was coming on to her, and she was very polite and letting me, passing me by, let's say. But she was very polite in the scene. Anyway, we started hitting it off during rehearsals and started talking and went out to dinner the night of the show at Nick Adele's right outside Paramount, and started dating, and we got married 2 years later.
Oh.
And we're married after now 38 years.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that story.
Yes.
What a great story. I mean, that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, that's something really special. First of all, you guys have been together that long. Wow. I mean, in this business, in this town, it's like, really, really great. Yay. Everybody go, yay. That's wonderful. What a great story. And Rosie will love the fact that you shared that story. So thank you for that question, Rosie.
Thanks, Rosie, for that question.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Okay. So, so I have one of the gentlemen who follows the show. He calls himself Ski, and he wants to know what one of your fondest memories was of being on the show, which I think you told a couple of them, but also really his main question was, as a fellow ginger, was it tough growing up as a redhead? Although now, like with
I lost you. I lost you for a second. As a fellow ginger.
As a fellow ginger, was it tough growing up with red hair? Although, of course, we've got Prince Harry now, making it really cool. But he wanted to know if it was difficult, because I think it was maybe difficult for him growing up.
Yeah, when I was younger, and especially entering, when you 13, 14, 15 years old. And I think being a redhead, it was a little tough at times. And I felt that I wish I'd had a different color, different color hair.
Your hair looks great right now, by the way. I really like it.
Oh, yeah, I like it better now than when
I like it.
It used to be a pretty strong red color, orange. It was really orange. I don't know why they called it red. It was orange, So, yeah, I had problems with it, definitely. So I understand where he's coming from.
Right.
But I persevered.
You know what's so funny? There's so many women who make their hair red, like in the entertainment business, because they always got the great parts where the woman, like as a woman, she was always the fiery, redhead and had great like content, great scripts, So
it's different for a woman to have red
different
hair.
for a guy. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I think that he will appreciate that you answered that question, and you guys are doing good now. It's really in to be a redhead.
Yeah.
So
okay, yay.
So
and then I did a recurring role on Glee.
Yeah.
Where the first episode I played the dad to Emma, the character Emma played by Jayma Mays, and because she was redhead, she was a ginger, and then I was accused of being a ginger supremacist. It was very funny.
That's so funny. And let's talk about that. See, here's great. There was a question from Mira, and Mira wanted to know, what are you doing now? So I would love to move in to what are you doing now, if we could. So let me just bring something else up. Hold on a minute. Let me do this. All right, 1 second. I'm going to let me find it. 1 second. I've got this really cool thing to play and share with everybody.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh, I'm not ready for that one yet. Hold on. Okay, there is a lovely photograph of you. And
a few years ago, definitely a few.
Yeah. You know what I love about this picture, and I want everybody to see it, is that you're an actor. And everybody grew up with you on Happy Days. And of course, they loved you, and it was fun, and it was great comedy, and you made us laugh, and all of that. But you are an incredible actor. And I love this picture because I think, in your eyes, what I saw this picture when I found this photograph is that this is the other side of you. This is the depth of you as a performer. And, obviously you've been working as an actor for many, many years and had, like you said, some incredible, parts and things that you've done. And are just looking at all the different things, like you said, reoccurring on Glee. You did EdTV with Ron Howard. You did Crazy Mama, the great Buck Howard starring John Malkovich. I mean, you've just been working and working and working. You have all these great films coming up as well. So I do have a clip of one of those, and I want to find it. It's got to be in here. Where is it? Hold on a minute. I
sent you too many.
You sent me too many? All right. So it's not showing up in my stream right now. So I'm going to actually, then I'm going to show this. Hold on a minute. No, let me do it this way. Let's talk a little bit. Maybe you could just, I really want to pull this clip up of you, and I'll pull it up from my file.
From MBF.
So you could just tell, if you could just tell everybody a little, I'm gonna, I'm gonna go off camera and let you talk a little bit about the film and why you got involved, and a little bit about your character, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Yeah. A great production company that's based in Michigan called Collective Development. They contacted me because they were doing a film called MBF, aka Man's Best Friend, about a wounded vet who was a Marine, had his dog. He was a dog handler, so his partner over there was a dog that wound up getting killed. He got brain injury and post-traumatic the stress and disorder, and he comes back home and trying to assimilate back into normal routine in life. And something happens, which I don't want to give away, but he winds up getting arrested. And I play his defense attorney. And it's a really powerful film, very, it's a very different kind of tone that people would expect if they know me only from Happy Days. And like I said, I was not really like that, and I loved all kinds of roles. So I was very grateful that they came to me wanting me to be in this film. It turned out to be a terrific experience, and it was beautifully written, and I just embraced playing this role with my heart and soul.
Well, I'm going to play a clip from it, and so I'm going to take you. You're not going to be able to see it, but you've seen it. It's the end of your courtroom scene, and the reason I'm taking off camera is it messes up our audio if I leave us up. So I'm going to play it because it's such a powerful scene, and I really want everyone to see it. So just once again, everybody, this is a film that's coming up that Don is doing, right? And we don't exactly know when it's going to be released yet, correct?
Well, this one is actually out now on Amazon Prime
fabulous.
And Tubi. The other film is coming out in the fall.
Okay. So let me play the clip, and then we'll reiterate where they can find it. And I think everybody's going to absolutely love this. It's absolutely incredible. So let me.
A troubled young man, and who has a pattern of truancy, bullying, and in this case, took things too far. We plan to give you the truth. And following that, we're going to ask you, after you hear all the testimony, that you find Paul Landings not guilty of these charges.
That is such a powerful. It's the end when you said you will find him not guilty of these charges. I mean, it is really incredible, and I'm excited to see it myself. So once again, for everybody who wants to see it, just the name of the movie and how they can find it on Amazon Prime. You just go to Amazon Prime and type in.
Yeah, it's M as in Mary, B as in boy, F as in Frank, MBF, or Man's Best Friend.
Okay.
On Amazon Prime and Tubi, if you don't have a Prime subscription, and Tubi is free, and it might even be on Roku TV as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's a strong movie, and DJ Perry wrote it. He stars in it, does a fantastic job. The director, Anthony Hornis, was fabulous. The whole crew. And then what happened was that we had such a good experience. Then they asked me, they were doing another movie shortly after that, Lost Heart. And they asked me to join them again.
Wow.
And we shot this on the northwestern shores of Michigan, right near the lake. And gorgeous country. And another beautiful script by DJ Perry. Different than MBF. This one's more of a drama comedy. It has all kinds of. It's fun, but it's heartfelt, and it's emotional, and it's crazy. It's real. It was a great script, and I haven't seen the movie yet. I saw the trailer, which I sent you. That's all I've seen. But I've been hearing that they're very excited. I know they're very excited about the movie. So I can't wait for it to come out. And that will be out in the fall. I don't know exactly, which platform yet. And,
is that Lost Heart?
Lost Heart.
That's what you're talking about, Lost Heart. All right. So MBF, you guys can watch right now on Amazon Prime, or you said Tubi, right? And then Lost Heart will be coming out. And then you have these other things. I've got scrolling across the bottom here. People, they can go to your website is here so they can see it. So it just says, stay connected with Don at DonnyMost.com. Instagram is at DonMost1. Facebook, Don Most. And then Twitter is, I've got Most_Don, right? So it's scrolling scrolling across the bottom of the screen so that people can find out what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I have to update my website doesn't have some of the more recent things. I have to update that.
Okay.
But Facebook and Twitter
Right.
I have a bunch of posts about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. And then you also did a fun thing, which, with Anson, right? Called Harvest Time.
Oh, yeah. The thing I did with Anson was great. It was a pilot for a TV show, which would have been an anthology series with 2 different actors each week.
Right.
People that you know, but you see them in something very different. That, they work together really well. Now you're
Right.
seeing them in something that you would never expect. And this was the pilot, Harvest Time, which just came out. It's on YouTube under the series name Viral Vignettes.
Okay.
Harvest Time was that
Very
episode.
good.
And we play brothers, but it's so different than the characters on Happy Days. And it's very dark comedy. And it's brilliantly written. So people should check it out.
That's wonderful. I love that. Then I think the other thing that a lot of people may not know about you is that you are an award-winning director. I mean, this is so incredible. I mean, The Last Best Sunday, feature winner at the Telluride Indie Fest. I mean, that must have been such an incredibly exciting time to be awarded, right, at Telluride, which is such.
Yeah, it was the Indie Fest. It wasn't the, Telluride has that big festival. This wasn't that, so I don't want to mislead anyone.
John,
yes.
You won an award for a film you directed. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, I was very excited. And also for my second film, Moolah, at the Newport Beach Film Festival, I got an outstanding directing award there too.
I know. I was going to actually mention that, but I'm glad you did, because I'm extremely proud of you. And
thank you, Carrie.
I just think it's very exciting, because for those of us that grow up acting, when we move into a different area of the business, I mean, you never really know how people are going to receive it. And I just think it's something to be very proud of. And I'm so excited,
Thank you. Yeah, and I've got several projects I'm trying to get going now as well to direct, and a couple of really good projects. So, because it's been a while since I've directed, and I'm because I put I was singing a lot, and so I'm trying to juggle them all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that brings me to how I wanted to end the show, because I think this is something that is such a big passion of yours. And what I didn't tell you when we caught up on the phone recently is that my father was a professional singer. And
yes, you did tell me.
I did tell you. Okay.
He was on he was one of the singers on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yes. I can't believe you remember that. I even told you that. So yes, and because of that, of course, music is such a big part of my life. Growing up, chasing them around New York City and backstage at Broadway and all of that.
You were exposed to that whole whole side of it. Yes.
I was. So when I saw you singing, which I had not seen this footage before, it took my breath away, quite frankly. I was like, and it's not just actor Don Most. I mean, you are legitimately an incredible singer, and it's almost interesting that you ended up acting, because, and I'm so glad you are singing now, because it's not like the actor who becomes a singer. It's almost like you're the singer who became an actor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right? You had mentioned to me that you were singing before you did Happy Days, correct? Can you tell a little bit about the story about that?
Yeah, well, I first started pursuing, I had the bug very young. When I was about 9 years old, it hit me when I saw the movie, The Jolson Story, about the great Al Jolson, the biopic. And then I became a student of all that kind of music and really listened to it and surrounded myself in that, listening to it on radio every night. And then by the time I was 13, my parents saw that I needed to do this, or at least pursue it. And they found me a school in Manhattan. I grew up in Brooklyn, where I was learning singing, tap dancing, which I was not very good at, but I had to learn it, and acting, and then I got handpicked. The guy who ran the studio also had a professional troupe that he put together, like a review, and he would get them booked. There was 7 of us, 14, 15, and 16 years old. We were called the Broadway Show-Offs, and we had this act, and so I got to do it in the Catskill Mountains that one summer.
Wow.
And all the hotels, all the nightclubs. And it was an incredible experience. I was 14. I didn't turn 15 till the middle of that summer. I was in heaven, you know, to do this professionally at that age. But then for various reasons, I switched my focus to acting after that summer. And I went into a more serious acting class when I was 16, the following year. But I knew music would come back in some way, you know, at the right time. Somehow deep down, I knew that. So
right. Well, let me just show this little photograph here that I want everybody to see, because it is.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to make it bigger so people can see it there. I want to kind of get rid of myself. The look on your face when you sing, so incredible. I mean, I want to try to make it bigger. That's making it smaller.
And I'll just say, and that's Willie Scapatone behind me on sax, who was my musical director,
right,
and great friend. And we started this journey together, you know, 6 years ago. So I just had to do a little shout out for Willie.
Yeah, it's an incredible photograph. I love the way you look. So I want to play a little clip of you singing, and then we can talk about it if you're good with that. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So hold on a minute. So here we go. I think you know what I'm going to play. I'm going to take us off camera here for a second.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, where are you? There you are. I'm getting you back.
Am I back?
There you are. You're done. And you just like rocked the house. That's Maggie's Back in Town, the finale.
Oh, Mac the Knife. Yes.
No, it wasn't when you're saying Maggie's Back in Town.
Yeah, that it's actually Mac. M-A-C-K, Mackie.
Mackie. Oh, is it Mac?
Yeah. You know, Bobby Darin made that famous.
I'm embarrassing myself not knowing that.
Oh, you got to check Bobby
out. Mackie, because it's Mac the Knife and then goes to that end. Yeah, and like I mean, it's such an incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The orchestra, this incredible orchestra.
Yeah, that was the Orlando Jazz Orchestra, and a fantastic arrangement. I'm a huge stickler about the arrangements.
Right.
You know, because when I was very young and I would listen to all those great Sinatra and Bobby Darin and Sammy.
Right.
I was a huge Sammy fan, and all of those guys and the big bands. I saw how important those arrangements were, and so I'm a real stickler. And the arrangement in that is fantastic. And you're right, the combination of the 17-piece band making that thing just start to, you know, rise up to the stratosphere, and then I feel like I'm just I get in the pocket and go, you know.
Well, you are incredible. I mean, brought the house down, standing ovation, cheering. I love that clip because you're just so in your element, and you're supposed to be doing that, Don, because it just, I mean, especially right.
It's like deep, for some reason, I guess because I started so young, loved it so young, and you know that. It's just like, just so deep inside, you know.
Well, and the joy that I see on your face when you're singing, and the joy that you bring. I mean, just in that moment when I heard it the first time, it just like took my breath away and brought me so much joy. And I know that's what you do for everybody who hears you. So I want to make sure that everybody that's with us today who loves you and have loved you for decades know that you do this so that they can experience it. Because I don't even know how it is that I didn't know. And I was like, oh, I feel like I've been robbed, you know? And so right now,
a lot of people still don't know. And, you know, that it's tricky, you know, it's a tricky thing if you don't have the right, I don't know, you know, we're obviously not in our 20s, you know, in that phase. So it's a little different. But
I think this is the perfect age for you to be doing this and for you to be singing.
You're right.
To inspiring people. And, you know, I had the most interesting conversation with Kenny Loggins one time on this show.
Oh, wow.
And this was quite a few years back where, you know, all of the rap had come in, and he was living in Santa Barbara, and we were shooting the show, and he came on the show. He had just released a self-produced album, and I had heard it, and it was probably the most intense, wonderful album of lyrics and songs I'd ever heard from him. Of course, loved Footloose, loved all of that, loved Loggins and Cena, loved that.
But this was more, it was more personal. And
it was more personal, and he had songs in there about, you know, things that went on with his son when he got divorced, and a lot of really amazing stuff. And the reason I'm telling you this story and telling everybody else's story who's listening right now is that for anybody who's in a different chapter of their life, whether it's that second or third chapter of their life, I had this conversation, and he said that he couldn't get a record deal, Kenny Loggins, right? And he decided he was just going to quit the business because, you know, rap and the whole Run DMC and all that stuff had come in, right? And so he said he was telling his 8-year-old son, how would you like it if I was just a soccer dad? And his son, he said his son looked at me and very seriously looked in my eyes and said, Dad, you can't quit singing, because if you quit singing, you'll die. And he said it just took him aback. Wow. And so Kenny Loggins' son had this you know, from the mouths of babes, right?
Really?
And so he ended up self-producing this album. And I looked at him and I said, Kenny, this is one of the most powerful albums you've ever done. I said, you know, speaking for me, and I believe the entire audience, please don't stop writing and singing, because we need your music. And I feel the same way about you, because I think that right now the world is in a difficult phase.
That's for sure.
I think music and the lyrics and joy and having some happiness is so important. And that's what you do. And I want you to take this in, you bring so much joy to people when you sing. And it's like this God-given gift inside of you that is so powerful. And I know right now you can't sing in the clubs like you have been because of the pandemic, but I want everybody to know to follow you on your Instagram and on your page, because as soon as you're back, on stage, first of all, I want tickets in the front row really bad.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want and we will be making sure everybody on the show knows about it, because I can't think of a better way to celebrate the lockdown and the pandemic being gone and lifted by coming to watch you just inspire us and infuse us with all of this joy that is you when you sing those songs. And they've only seen a little portion of it. It's amazing what you do, Don. You are such a gift, really.
Oh, Carrie.
I'm serious.
Thank you so much. You're moving me very, very much, and I appreciate I don't know what to say. It's kind of hard to express, but thank you.
Well, and thank you. And so with that, I want to tell everybody you have a CD that is out now that they can get.
That's called Mostly Swinging, with a great big band of incredible jazz and studio musicians here in LA, led by the incredibly talented Willie Murillo on trumpet, and did the arranging, producing. It's a fun album. Great, you know, that great American songbook with swing.
Yeah.
Great swing. And then I am doing a new one with another producer in Nashville, which is a little bit different. still the jazz standards, but with a more contemporary kind of an approach, mixed in with some great classic 70s music.
Real fun.
So it's going to be great. But we had to slow down during this pandemic, and we're not going to get that finished till next year. But I'll tell you about that.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to that. We will be promoting that too. Okay, so to finish up, we do something fun on the show, which is a la, have you ever seen James Lipton at the Actors Studio do his questions?
Yeah, remember that kind of.
So, all right. So are you okay if I ask you a couple of questions to finish up, which are kind of fun? They're just one word. Uh-oh, where'd you go? Dawn? Okay, I think I've lost him, you guys. Hold on a minute. Let me see where he is. Oh, I may not get to ask him my questions. That's going to be such a bummer. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, I think I may have lost him. Hold on a minute. All right, so listen, I'm not sure he's going to come back. Let me see if he will. Oh, here he comes. He's coming back. Let's see if I can get him back. It has been such a incredible, blessing to have him on the show. I am so excited you guys all had a chance to hear from him. And I don't know how we lost our connection with Donny, but he is definitely going to be back on the show. I'll have to ask him these. He obviously didn't want to answer these questions that I was going to ask him, but we'll do that the next time he's on the show. And what a fun experience. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Definitely go and listen to some of Don's music on his website. He's got links to it. He's got links on Vimeo. You can check it out on his Facebook page, on his, on his website, and follow him on Instagram. And I am just so thrilled to have spent this incredible time with the wonderful Don, AKA Donny Most. And you are just a powerful person, and I just adore you, and I appreciate you, and thank you so much for being with us on In the Spotlight tonight, Don. So everybody have a great night, and we will see you next week. Okay? Good night, everybody.